Hello and welcome to Teta Tech. It gives me great pleasure to welcome RISHAD PREMJi, Executive Chairman at Wipro, to Teta Tech. What are the top 2 or 3 trend lines that you see that will define the Indian IT industry in the next 2 to 3 years?
Yeah. I really feel the runway over the next 3 to 5 years is tremendous. And it's been partly helped by 2 things, I think. One is this whole move to digital. COVID just accelerated that journey of moving to this digital first world, right? And that includes moving to the cloud and leveraging data more smartly and cybersecurity and all of that. And I think so there's a tremendous opportunity because industries and customers and countries that were not focused on it now have no choice but to be focused on it. The second is this big change on talent. Anand. People talk about India in the context of where talent is available. And it's a profound change. You never have this conversation about cost in the sense that you're coming to India because of cost. You're really coming to India because that's where people are at the moment. And so that combination of talent availability, a great commitment from the industry as well as from government to help with talent, and this huge transition to digital, I think, presents a tremendous opportunity for Indian technology companies.
You're now repositioning Wipro to distinguish from some of the peers who may not have made this transition of truly being global companies and really leading that way. How do you see that move happening specifically for Wipro?
Our focus is shifting, again, very purposefully to how do we play the role of an ecosystem orchestrator. I think there's a tremendous opportunity to play the orchestrator role, and SIs like us that are not biased, have no favoritism, and bring the best of breed mindset to the table, I think create a huge opportunity. And we're doing a couple of things in the organization to enable that more strongly, right? One is we've reorganized completely by markets as opposed to industry. We find that's a tremendous opportunity to show up closer to customers, to build more intimacy. The second is partnerships. Partnerships have changed. We had 4 people supporting our Microsoft partnership. We have 20 people supporting it today purposefully, right? It's our largest growing partnership. And then, how do we build a much stronger industry understanding? How do we become much more domain-led? How do we become much more consultative? That's one element. The other, I think, which is also important, Anand, is who you are as an organization and what you stand for. A whole commitment with companies like Microsoft on sustainability and transforming to net zero. We have a deep commitment on diversity. And those things I'm realizing are becoming table stakes in terms of play.
Totally.
But I think very powerful. So those are also important ingredients, I think, of how we try and differentiate ourselves as well outside of the business differentiators.
In an organization with more than 240,000 people, and 100,000 of them came in the last 2 years, you're now asking people to change behaviors and learn new behaviors when 15% of people are showing up in person. How do you even think about what are those 5 behaviors?
So one is just having 100,000 new people is an enormous challenge, right? Because you have 100,000 people who don't know the company, have no sense of the smell of the organization. And getting the smell of the organization is incredibly important. I think it's really important that all of our people come back some of the time. So the 5 habits are, one is about being respectful. And being respectful is about simply being respectful, but also giving direct feedback, listening, being inclusive. Second habit is about being responsive, not only to your customers, but also to your employees, and making decisions with speed. The third is always communicating. You can never communicate enough. Fourth one is about demonstrating stewardship, which is about putting the company first. Nobody wins if the company doesn't win. The last is about building trust. And that's very hard to do in an environment where people are new. How do you infuse them? You connect with people. You talk to people constantly. So I have done now personally 96 or 97 sessions. I've probably spent over 300 hours personally. I have met 29,000 colleagues, and I tell stories.
Thank you, RISHAD, for joining us at Teta Tech and sharing your views on culture and leadership. And thank you all for joining us today.